Hi there, Steve, here to talk about language learning again. And I want to talk today about enjoying our language learning. Now, I understand that some people have a need to learn English or German or some language for work or for school, and so they feel pressure and they don't enjoy it. But even for those people, if they can find a way to enjoy it, they're going to do better. But I want to comment on this because there was someone who commented here on my YouTube channel saying, you've been at Arabic now for 2 years and you're still talking about spending more time at it. You don't seem to be getting anywhere. What's the point? Or words to that effect. Didn't read the whole thing, but the gist of it was that. So I thought that I would review the amount of time that I've spent on these different languages over the last little while and how I managed to enjoy them. So I will show you now my profile in Arabic, and I'm going to we have our statistics at link. I could show you hours of listening or links created, but I'm just going to focus on words of reading because I think the reading is, and typically when I'm reading, I'm linking or I'm reviewing, but I'm reading, is a big part of learning. So if we look at my Arabic profile, you'll see that I started out in January of 2018, which is over 2 years ago, indeed. And of course, the first period, it went slowly because I'm trying to get used to the writing system. And it was more or less around November of 2019 that it really bumps up because I'm going off to Morocco where I hope to use it. And then it fell off because I was mixing it in with other languages, Turkish and Persian. And now I'm starting up again, reading more because I'm watching Levantine Arabic and Egyptian Arabic movies on Netflix. But all the while, I'm enjoying it. I'm not concerned about what I can say, how well I perform. I'm enjoying the language. And I think that's an important part of enjoying it, is set yourself meaningful goals. If I contrast that to, and I'm just going to pick one, let's look at the Persian that I've been learning at the same time. And you'll see that my involvement with Persian is much more recent, and it's bunched up basically heavy in sort of the spring of 2020. But also prior to going to Morocco, I think I did a 3-month challenge in Persian, but it's a shorter period of time and it also has its ups and downs, and I enjoy it whenever I'm into Persian. If I look at, I had a brief fling with Turkish, so you'll see that that's essentially bunched up into that 3-month challenge that I did back in May, June, July of 2019. But I have a sense of how that language works. That's tremendously enjoyable. When my wife is watching a Turkish movie on Netflix, I do understand some of it, and I can always go back to it. It's not lost. So I enjoy what I did there, and I enjoy the fact that I have this sort of in my, database of languages that I can go back to. I'm not concerned about what I'm able to do in Turkish. Now, some of the languages that I learned for very specific. So just here's Polish, and you'll see Polish is entirely focused on one short period around, again, the fall of 2015. Haven't done much since. I'd struggled to speak it, but it's there. I have 30,000 words or something in Polish. I can go back to it whenever I want. For me, it gives me pleasure to think that I have a sense of how that language works. If I look at, for example, what am I going to look at? Korean is one that I've fought with for a long time, and so there's different, peaks and valleys over a long period of time, going back to 2010, and I still don't consider that one of the 12 languages that I speak well, although I can carry on conversations and I understand quite a bit, and I'm happy with what I'm able to do in Korean. But I wanted to show you the let's look at Ukrainian briefly here. So it was very much bunched into 2014. In the first half of 2014, when all the events started in Ukraine, then I kind of laid off it. And then, because I was going to visit Ukraine, I spent some more time sort of brushing up on it. But I wanted to show maybe the Romanian and the Greek. So Greek, we visited Greece in the autumn of 2017, so I had a bit of a run at it initially, getting used to the writing system, and I really focused in on it just before going to Crete, and I used it, and I haven't done much since. And but the Romanian one is interesting because that was totally focused. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is that whatever you do in the language, try to enjoy it. Don't second guess yourself. Be happy with what you're able to achieve. You'll see with Romanian, it's entirely in a 3-month period. Then I go to Romania, I use it, I'm happy. Today I couldn't speak the language, but I could quickly get it back. So all I'm trying to demonstrate is that whatever you're doing with the language, don't allow people to criticize you. Just enjoy what you enjoy with the language. Enjoy discovering. To me, learning a language is a matter of discovering a new language, how it works, how they use words. So I have a sense of Romanian. I have a sense of Arabic. I have a sense of Persian. I have a sense of Polish. Czech is another one that I spend a lot of time on. And in my Czech, I was listening to Czech history, similarly with Ukrainian. In most of these languages, I like to move to something of interest, which for me is history. It's like in my Persian, I have these simple, our collaborator in Iran is telling me the history of Iran in simple words. And so I'm doing things of interest. I'm discovering the language. I'm getting into this other world. And that's good enough. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm not out there to outperform anyone. And I think the pressure we put on ourselves to speak like a native or to, refine, the pronunciation or whatever, is unnecessary pressure. If we keep going, keep listening and reading, we gradually acquire new words, gradually become more comfortable in the language. It's a slow process. It's getting used to a language. The brain gets used to it. The brain starts identifying these patterns. But let it be an enjoyable process. Appreciate what you have done. Appreciate the discovery of the language. Noticing things in the language. For someone who's never done French, and you go into French and you discover that there's a whole bunch of letters they don't pronounce. Just even to know that. To know that the Slavic languages don't use articles. But they have more complicated approaches to declensions and verbs of motion. And even if you can't nail those every time, but you're aware that they exist, it's part of your discovery. It's part of a sort of a window on their culture and their world. So it's all good. So I think I just wanted to, I guess in response to this person saying, well, you've been at it for so long and you're not very good. True, but I'm enjoying it. So I don't owe anyone anything. And people say, well, you push, you think you're an expert on language learning and it takes you so long. It takes long. Arabic takes a while, especially if you're blending it with other languages. It takes time. And as long as you're enjoying the process, that's fine. And a link is a method that enables me to enjoy these languages, to look up words, to start in with my mini stories, move from there into, I can bring in newspaper articles, Netflix, I can get podcasts transcribed and study them. So I have this means of discovering this world using link, and I think that's very valuable. And that's why I talk about it, because it's something that I enjoy, and I would encourage other people to enjoy as well, including enjoying studying the language without putting too much pressure on themselves. Thanks for listening. Bye.